Hi, thanks for watching. I'm back with another video for Blue Night stamps. I'm going to be sharing with you some new mixed media papers that were recently released. The papers remind me of if you would do a watercolor smooshing on your glass mat. And if you look real close, some of them even have some text lightly imprinted in the background. You get 20 cards total. You get 5 cards of each 4 designs, plus the bonus design on the back. You see the green at the top? That's on the back of each sheet. And then you will get 5 of the blue and the brown that's sort of like mixed together, 5 of the blue and the green that's mixed together, 5 of the orange and yellow that's mixed together, and 5 of the pink and blue that's mixed together. And on the back is the green and the brown on all of them. So you have a total of 40 images. Now, these are real pretty papers, and they were designed by Connie Mercer. Now I'm going to be using them in conjunction with this stamp set called Seagull and Pier. It has 2 different stamps, the seagull and the pier, and then some birds, a flock of birds. Also recently released is the clear sentiment stamps for Happy Birthday. This is great. First time Blue Night that I know of has had clear stamps, and it's very helpful when lining up your image. So I'm going to be using them, and also this mixed media number set, also a new release from Blue Night, and you'll see on the right the card that I'm going to be making. So the image of the seagull and the pier, I've already stamped that on here using archival ink. Now I'm stamping some of the numbers from the mixed media number set. Actually, it's more like a list. It reminds you of a bill of sale. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit here so you can get a better look of me as I'm picking out the different components of what I'm going to stamp. I'm just getting everything lined up. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this with some black ink, and I have VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, but I do jump back and forth with my inks. Sometimes I use regular VersaFine ink. Like I said, all of these little components, the star, the circle with the number in it, these all come from the mixed media number set. And I'm just trying to group them together and create a card that brings together these new types of stamps for Blue Night. Again, these are clear stamps made of photopolymer rubber. The Blue Night is known for their red rubber stamps, especially these silhouette stamps. Now I grabbed the large seagrass from Seagrass Red Rubber Stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp this with Catherine Pooler ink. I have a piece of acetate down because I wanted to make sure that I was positioning it in the correct position on my card. So you'll see that I am going to just double check my placement here, make sure that I'm good, and then go back to stamping some of the clear stamps from the mixed media numbers. These stars look so cool. I use them a lot this month on the cards that I created. Okay, now I'm going to grab that silhouette pier and seagull, and there's a flock of birds. I'm going to stamp the flock of birds. I am grabbing my piece of acetate again just to make sure that I'm getting everything lined up where I'd like them to be. If you're not familiar with Blue Night rubber stamps, they are a mom and pop small business. They spend the majority of the time going out to stamp shows, and they have one coming up October 10th and 11th in York, Pennsylvania. Check out stampercon.net on the internet. I will have it linked below in my description box to find out more about that stamp show. Now that I have my panel stamped out, I am going to grab some distressed oxides and the sentiment, which is from the Happy Birthday set. I'm just going to ink blend some ink on top of that so it's matching better with the card background. And I have Mermaid Lagoon, Salty Ocean, and Salvage Patina, and I end up using Mermaid Lagoon and Salty Ocean. I don't use the Salvage Patina that much because it's got a little bit more green in it, and I wanted to keep it blue. I finished this card off camera. I added some baker's twine around the bottom that's blue and white. I thought it kind of went with the nautical theme. My second card I created using the stamp set called Dad and I and the Happy Birthday stamp set. I also am using Pan Pastels. So Blue Night Rubber Stamp sells Pan Pastels. They sell 3 different palettes. They have the day and night, the sunrise, sunset, and the pastel colors. I have combined mine into my palette to the preference that I like. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. That way you can learn more about using Pan Pastels. Also, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know, have you ever used Pan Pastels before? I would definitely recommend that you check out the palettes that are available through Blue Night Stamp because they are very much the most affordable way to get started. Now, Pan Pastels are highly pigmented pastels in a pan. They are a dry medium. However, when you use them, they have the same intensity as ink. They go on dry. You don't have to worry about waiting for your project to dry if you're ink blending your backgrounds. They're easy to use and they are easy to blend. So if you have arthritis in your hands like me, you don't have to put a lot of pressure to apply Pan Pastels. And a little bit goes a long, long way. There's very little fallout. And when I say fallout, I mean like flaking or whatever. They remind you of like a finely milled eyeshadow. They're super easy to work with and a lot of fun. And they blend together well. I'm using a super smooth paper. The smoother the paper, the easier it is to blend your colors, just like with ink blending. Now, Pan Pastels, you do have to spray them at the end of your project. I use hairspray. You could also use Krylon, but that's got a very strong fume, so I just use hairspray. And as you can see, I'm just blending my various different shades of blue with a little bit of purple down the middle. And you can go as dark as you want, or you can go as light as you want. And this one obviously is a lot darker than the one that I created previously. I'm thinking about a lake and a tree line along the horizon. Especially with this stamp, Dad and I, you can see that they're setting at a lake. So that's going to come into play whenever I'm stamping. It's a lot of fun to play with these Pan Pastels, and when you're done, you just wash your hands and they come right off. Unlike ink, which definitely will stain your hands. Not permanently, but you know what I mean. If you've ever ink blended a lot and you've got inky fingers. Oh, this one I put a little bit of a navy blue at the bottom because I was thinking that it would look darker at the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and stamp our image. This is a nice big image. It practically takes up a lot of the space on the card panel because it has not only the father and son or the father and child fishing together, but on the horizon you'll see that there is a tree line, which I think really makes this stamp interesting. I've had this stamp for a couple years. I've never used it. So I was excited to use it for this month. And I do, I said like I do jump in between my inks, and really I usually just end up using the one that's the juiciest because to me, I find that is the easiest for me to work with. I don't have to press as hard. Right now my archival ink is running a little bit low on ink. I need to re-ink it. The VersaFine just a regular VersaFine ink that I have. It's probably my juiciest right now. And here's a hint. You can use a little eyeshadow applicator to add ink if your ink positioning, if your stamp positioning platform, there's a spot that doesn't want to ink as deeply, the impression doesn't get as deep. Yeah, you can use your little Q-tip or something to go ahead and add color to that space. That's what I was doing at the end of the last clip there. So like I said, I made a couple different panels, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue stamping them. This time I'm using Catherine Pooler Midnight ink, which is a super juicy ink for me, but you can see there are some spots that didn't ink very well, so I just got to go over it again until I get the intensity that satisfies me. And that's the same with ink blending as well. You have the same thing as with pan pastels. What's nice about the mixed media paper is all of this ink blending and, pan pastel blending is done for you already. So, but I thought I would try two different style of cards today. One with those awesome new mixed media papers and one with my own paper that I designed, because if you don't have the mixed media paper and you're wondering how you can create a background, this is one way to do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment now. This sentiment comes from the Happy Birthday Clear stamp set. And I actually am going to emboss it with embossing powder. So what I do is I stamp it with black ink and then I use clear embossing powder to emboss the sentiment. This sentiment says, "May all your birthday wishes come true." The other sentiments say, "Sending you birthday wishes on your special day. Hope your day is filled with God's blessing. Wishing you all things wonderful. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Sing, dance, eat, play, repeat." And then just happy birthday. So I have this clear ultra fine embossing powder from Pink and Maine. I'm just going to go ahead and heat emboss this, and I have it on a light blue cardstock that I had in my stash. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button. Please give this video a thumbs up, which is the like button, and please leave a comment. What do you think about the cards that I created? These things, subscribing, leaving a like, and leaving a comment greatly help me to grow my channel. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, so I hope that you'll help me in my effort to do that. Thanks so much for watching and have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.